Oh my God, you guys! It's Broadway Breakdown. We're back. We're talking Legally Blonde. Don't go too far.
Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk. We talk movie.
This one qualifies. Oh my gosh, you guys! Oh my gosh.
I don't like to say
Okay, for those dissonant chords.
Hi everyone, welcome to Broadway Breakdown. I hope you guys all had a great 4th of July, and last weekend I took a little break from our show to celebrate our 4th of July ourselves. But we are back and we're talking Legally Blonde. We have a full panel. It's so exciting. I am your host, Briana Phipps. You can find me at bphipps14 on Twitter and Instagram.
Hey guys, I'm Elle Nasta. You can find me on Twitter at Elle Nasta and on Instagram at Elle Girl.
I'm Carla Renata. You can find me at The Curvy Critic on all social media platforms.
I'm 123 Jackie B on all platforms.
So, Legally Blonde, the musical. This was a musical that I was so nervous about when I heard they were making it.
Really?
Because I love the movie. And I was like, can it be made into a musical?
Or it's perfect for a musical.
It was. But, you know, you just always, is it going to fall in the right hands? And it ended up falling in
It could be like The Wedding Singer, where I hate the musical for The Wedding Singer. It's just terrible. I don't know if you've ever seen it.
I've only heard the music.
It doesn't have any of the music from the movie.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it has.
She's like, no.
No.
It has Grow Old With You.
Oh, it has one original song.
I actually love that song.
But what about all the old 80s classics? But this isn't about that.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, like, I do understand where you have that trepidation, where it's like
both.
you either make something really great out of this or you fuck it up royally.
It's like how they messed up The Wiz. I'm just saying. I mean, I can understand. The Wiz was a busted movie, but the musical was fantabulous. So there's that.
It's like anytime a musical gets made into a movie or a movie gets made into a musical, I always have this like slight, oh God, please let it be good.
Honestly, I felt the same way. When I first heard it come out, I think it was in high school, and we always went on these theater trips. So we would go and we would see like at least 5 musicals at a time, and they're like, you're going to go watch Legally Blonde. And we were like, what? That's a musical now? Like, what's going on? How can that even be good? It's going to be so cheesy. And I kid you not, all of us, after watching it, we were all like, our jaws were dropped the whole time. Oh my gosh, you guys, and like the theme of this show was like the whole trip we talked about it the whole time. It shocked us. We all were so amazed by how good it was.
I'm that person that I was on Broadway at the time, and then I went to see the show.
Yeah, she's got this cute thing.
I have my Legally
love
Blonde
it.
sweatshirt. I had the pants that said, oh my God, but now it just says, oh my God. Because my booty cheeks just rolled them off.
That happens. Hey, that means they're a good pair of pants if you were...
That's true.
That's true.
And I use them as pajamas. But I went to see that show 10 times, and I was in a Broadway show, so that took some doing to go see it while I was on Broadway. But this is the reason why I went to sing it. When Laura Bell Bundy sings that opening number and she holds that note, I call it the Effie note, because she holds it forever. I was like,
And she does that like 3 or 4 times in this musical where she hits a note forever.
Where she holds this note forever. I'm like, I need to know who that is, because really, she's singing like Effie. I can't handle her right now. And then the jump rope number. I can't.
I don't even, like, I would be on the floor after a minute.
That jump rope number, I was like, because when I was on Broadway, I was a swing, so I had to know 8 different parts. So when I watched that, every time I watch it, all I could think about is that poor swing that's sitting backstage praying that they don't have to go on, because seriously, that jump rope number, it was all over the place. There was all different kind of figurations.
Yeah, I mean, if you're in that jump rope number, you don't gotta go to the gym anymore.
Right.
There's that, but then you also don't want to slap somebody in the face with a jump rope when you're on either. So I'm like, ooh, I'm so glad I'm not in that show.
And that's pretty much the only number that's like a super choreographed number in the show. Like, there's other like smaller choreographed, but like, so they were like,
the
we're gonna
Irish
go
dancing number. I mean, they have a whole Irish dancing line.
I was not feeling that number. I could have dealt without that number. I was like, what is happening right
now? They were really pushing that Irish.
I think the reason they did it, though, is because I actually liked that because it's set in Boston, and so you have...
There's a lot of Irish Catholics in
Boston. Yeah, there's a lot of
Yeah.
Irish Catholics in Boston, and then the movie, as much as I love Jennifer Coolidge, who plays Paulette in the movie, you would have no understanding that she was just like a poor town Boston person because she doesn't use an accent. And
that's a good point.
Yeah, and so I liked that reference to like, these are like the poor town Boston people, and then it was kind of like a little homage to that. So I did appreciate.
I just liked it because I'm Irish.
I mean, I'm Irish too, but like
I just love singing the line of like the Irish fear nothing and no one. We keep fighting till everyone's dead. I'm like, yeah, we do.
That is pure comedy. But to your point about Jennifer Coolidge, it was on this morning on TV, by the way.
Well, was it the 16th anniversary or the 20th anniversary that just...
It's the 20th.
20th. Yeah, it was like on Thursday or something.
Yeah, it was just past.
Yeah, of the movie, not the musical. Let's be
the
clear.
movie. But it was on this morning, and so of course I had to watch it because it's like one of my favorite movies. And honey, that scene where she teaches them to bend and snap.
Yes.
I can't.
Every time, I feel like it never gets old. And she just, the way, like, her gestures and the way she acts is just so on point every time. And you just want to be her best friend. That's
and
like
you
what
love
she does.
how the random people in the salon are like, what about this?
Yeah.
What about this?
And I love how they did that scene in the musical, too. How they transitioned it. They, like, had Paula just be, like, the awkward one, but, like, having all of her, like, I need to go get my, like...
Yeah.
It just worked. Like, they were able to translate this movie so well into a
Right.
musical.
Yeah, I think they did an excellent job translating the musical version into a film version into a musical version, because usually, like we said at the beginning of the conversation, usually when it's done, there's always some element of the musical or the movie that's missing, and you're kind of like, that didn't happen.
Right.
Like, why is that scene there?
I do have, there is one pet peeve I have with the musical that I felt like didn't translate from the film, is that Elle, even though she like follows this guy to college, law school. Once she's in law school, she seems in the movie to be acting of her own agency after that. She's not like, oh, I have to be in the same class as Warner. Oh, I have to do everything
that's
for
true.
Warner.
They didn't do that in the musical,
And
but
so
it was more prevalent in the film.
Yeah, and so it really bothered me because you have, I know you have to set up the kind of like relationship with her and Emmett, but I really wish she would have asked Emmett for help instead of Emmett being like, well, you suck at everything, so I might as well just camp out in your dorm room and help you out. I was like, wow, like, I mean, rude.
It's not how it happened.
Yeah.
To me, that's how it read.
She was crying outside because of being turned down by Warner, and then he comes to comfort her, and then he talks about his own story.
in kind of like a mansplaining kind of way
I disagree
to comfort
with that.
her.
I loved his.
Because in the film, that doesn't, like, she does it all on her own. She's at the party with Warner, and then she's like, Warner, didn't we go to the same school? Like, we got into the same school. I should be able to get into this. And she motivates herself to do all that studying. Like, you see her buying the computer and everything and doing all the work.
But that's one of the things about Legally Blonde, whether it's the movie or the musical, that I love about the show. It breaks down that stereotype of, because I'm pretty and I'm blonde and I'm a soror, which makes me automatically seem like I'm an idiot and stupid. Let me show you how dumb I'm not. I'm going to get into Yale Law School, and I'm going to graduate, and I'm going to marry this lawyer at the end of it. So how about that?
It really, like, puts through that whole thing of, like, every girl that is grown up thinking, like, all I need to do is find, like, a man, get married, and whatever. Like, that's not true. That you can if that's what you want, but then there's also a lot more to you.
Yeah, like if a little girl were to go see this musical now, if they went to see that, then they would walk away from it going, "Oh, I could be a lawyer too."
Right.
I don't have to, think that because I'm pretty, I can't be smart too. It's a really good lesson.
Or that you
in
can do both. That you
Yes.
can have a career and
be pretty and be smart.
and still, like,
Yes.
have it, like, because they get engaged at the end, so you can still have marriage and a career, because a lot of people think you can only have one or the other.
Yeah, I mean, that is a really good lesson to walk away with for little girls that go see musical theater. So I really love that about the show. But I just love the show.
Yeah.
I love that about the show too, though, because even today you have women who want to become lawyers, and they're still facing that, like, sexism and misogyny that Elle faces, where she realizes, oh, he just accepted me into the program because he has a crush on me.
Let me tell you something. My sister is a lawyer, and she's a partner at a law firm, and she faces that on a daily basis. So imagine if you're not only a female, but you're a young female, like she's in her 30s, I think, and she is a partner, and she's black. So she got all of that going against her, and her quota every year that she has to reach is much higher than her male counterparts. Right, and then there's that.
And they're paying her less than somebody.
And they're paying her less.
Yeah.
Like, we had a whole conversation about the fact that she was getting paid less, and I was strategizing with my sister to try to get her paid more, and it worked.
Oh, good.
And that's like the underlying thing of this musical with the end is like to have him disregard her because she turns down his sexual advances and she's just ready to give up and go home, but then she like changes her mind. Well, Vivian changes her mind. And it's like, no, there's more to you. You're not just a girl that is this. Which that one they did change a little bit from the play because Warner, I don't remember, did Warner?
In the movie.
The Vivian sees them kissing in the movie,
yeah,
right?
Vivian sees them kiss. Well, they don't really kiss.
They don't kiss. He's
They don't
like
kiss. In the
grabbing
movie,
her.
she puts his
just
hand on her
assumes,
leg,
yeah.
and Vivian assumes that something more has transpired. But I think in the musical they actually
They have
an
Warner.
exchange.
They have Warner see the exchange. He kisses her, and then she like pushes him away. But Warner sees it, and then creates the whole thing.
You know, that in both incarnations was kind of annoying. Because it's like, you know, why does that have to happen? Why do we have to have that be a part of the equation? But I guess they needed it in order to move the story forward in the way that they needed it to move for the purposes of the court case. You know what I mean? So that she could take over. Yeah, so that she could take over the case. Like, I get why they did it, but I wasn't having it.
I like that they changed it to Warner accusing her in the musical, though, as opposed to Vivian. Because I liked having Vivian be, you know, what she was against her this whole time, but then she was going to stand up for her at the end because she's still a woman. So I liked that they switched that around for the musical.
I like that too because too many times we see TV or movies or musicals or whatever where women are taking down other women, and then here's one instance where they were enemies at the beginning, but it doesn't even matter anymore.
Yeah, but Vivian was totally hating on Elle because she was pretty and that she had a relationship with Warner. So, and she was kind of dowdy looking.
She had her insecurities and was putting them off as a bully because
she was totally being a bully.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Really, Diva, you can't like embrace the sister. Like, why you gotta hate on the sister?
I know Vivian's character too. I mean, I love like I kind of like that dimension though because you grow to hate her and then all of a sudden you're like, you came out good in the movie and you're like, okay, maybe I can like her, but then it kind of gives you that likable character to her, which I really enjoyed, and it's fun to see that because like you were saying about Elle's character, and she goes through this huge character development, and I feel like we see that in both cases, which is really nice.
But with Vivian, I'm like, first of all, you the one walking around with the ring, boo.
Yeah, like,
you
who
got the
cares?
ring. Why you got an attitude?
Yeah, that's true. It's
You're
like,
the one
because
with
she's
the
insecure
ring.
because she knows that she just has the ring because of her family and not because of herself.
Yeah,
I
that's
know
true.
this, but I'm gonna need you not to act like that.
That's true.
I'm gonna need
It's
you to
just
be
like-
better.
Whenever I
It's
think of
frustrating.
Vivian, I feel like my initial vision of her is the movie version when she's like when she says like, "But you're wearing the ring." She goes,
Yeah.
That is funny. Her and her.
That was so good.
That was kind of funny where she just tilts her head. I wonder what happened to that actress in the movie. You haven't seen her in anything since.
She got drunk on a flight and got kicked off. That's what happened to her recently.
"For real? Really?"
Yes. And then Selma Blair apologized, and she was like, I was taking a lot of medicine and drinking on a plane, and I freaked out, and I'm sorry. That's the most recent thing she's been up to, everyone.
Oh,
Wow.
I had no
That's
idea.
unfortunate.
Let's talk about the music in this show.
Okay.
Because the music in the show, I think, is what makes the show.
Oh, yes, it's fun.
I love the upbeatness because you have to have like the over the top, like
you have to have
giggly girl.
addictive pop music,
Yeah.
too. It's that kind of show where you
But then
need
they
that
also
kind of
like
music.
that, and then it's such for me, it's such like a big difference than towards the end when she's gonna go home and she's just belting out this ballad of like, I guess I'll just be legally blonde. Like, I like the music does so much for me emotionally, like because it's just keeping me up, and then that song hits and I'm like in tears.
Yeah,
It just gave
felt
me
that,
goosebumps
too.
when you said that.
I felt that too because you go on this ride of it taking you up and up and up and up and up where you're like, yay, 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 and then she has that moment and you're like, oh, really? Aw.
Yeah.
And you feel kind of like, knowing, even though you have seen the film, even though you know what the premise is, you know how it's going to turn out. For somebody that are legally blonde heads like we are, even though I'm not blonde and y'all are, but that's beside the point. I'm just saying, I'll be a honorary blonde. So, but you know how it's going to turn out, and then but you get sucked into the story. So that's a testament to the people that created the musical. Like I was saying earlier, it's one thing to when we were talking about another musical that I'm sure we'll talk about later, but we were talking about the fact that, you know, there's one thing to keep in that lane and keep the original vibe of the original there without taking so much stuff out of it that it becomes a completely different project. And I think with Legally Blonde, with the music, with the choreography, with the book, they did an excellent job with keeping that story intact.
Right.
It's almost exactly the same except for the whole mansplaining part. It really is.
And the Irish dancing.
And the Irish dancing.
But I do love the UPS part that they kept in. Like, they kept it almost word for word.
I love that too.
I love that too. Where she like hits him in the nose and everything.
I love that too.
I've got a package.
And the I forget her name. What was her the chick that played the Paulette in the musical?
In the
starts with a O.
I have it right here. It's Orpha is
Orpha.
Yeah, I'm like, I think that's how you say it.
I think that's how it is.
She's actually married to him in real life, isn't she? She's married to someone. I think she's actually married or was dating the guy that played the.
She might have been. I don't know. That's
UPS guy, and the UPS guy was also the guy dancing when Elle's studying for her LSATs. That's a little thing. They're like, you want to come up because the sun sheet warm? Like, that's the same guy.
But I love the fact that of all the people that she's attracted to, it's the UPS guy.
Right.
Because her world is revolving in this nail salon. She don't get out much.
Yeah.
She don't see that many men. So, but I love the fact that they made.
But she's not a nail salon in this. I just thought about that. I never even thought about that.
She's not
She's
in a
a
nail
hair
salon
salon.
in the musical.
How did I never I sing that song all the time where she says, like, you know, the number one reason behind all bad hair decisions.
Yeah, exactly. But I love
just blew my mind right now.
I love the fact that she's in the salon all day long, so she don't get out much. She doesn't get to see that many men, and that the one person that she sees on a daily basis is this really fine UPS dude. Like, I kind of love that.
I love that too. I love that too.
Named Brendan.
Great.
And I love the fact that he kind of like is hot for her too. Like, he's hot for her just as hot as she is for him. And then they have the little doggy thing. I love that. Their little dogs get along. I just think that's cute.
It is fun too because there's so much struggle going on in the show, so it kind of gives you that lighthearted piece that you kind of in a second forget about what's going on in the drama, and you just focus in on this couple, and they're both just like so cutesy towards each other, and it's just you feel related to them, and it's so great.
I also love that we get the dogs in the musical.
Yeah.
I do too.
And then they don't like, you know, have like a random little stuffed animal. I think they actually had trained dogs.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, I love when the little doggy comes running out. He's so cute.
I love it when they have real trained dogs.
And then Paulette's dog, but she just all he has to do is lay there.
Yeah.
I know, he's just like with his tongue hanging out the side. It was.
He's
cute.
like, whatever, I'm getting paid.
It's cute. I love it.
Let's talk about Christian Borle because we did. We touched on him.
I have such a crush on him in this. He's
Really?
like nerdy cute, and I'm living for the nerdy cuteness.
I'm trying to remember.
Even though he's
if
a
this is where I
mansplainer, I
first
still have a crush.
You're
saw him,
hilarious.
or if
I
it
would
was
see him
Spam a
once.
lot. I can't remember which one he did first. If it was Spam a lot or this one.
I think it was.
It was
this?
Legally Blonde.
It was
first.
Legally Blonde first.
Mhm.
Okay. Because I remember having a thing where like, wait, that's the same person. That's completely different roles. He's amazing. But I love him in this. Like, he's just like the right amount of nerdy, but also is smart. But also is like the guy that you could totally see him going through law school and no one giving two shits about him.
Right.
Him being like the guy that wasn't cool, didn't have friends, didn't go to parties. Like, I feel like he says this whole story of like, I didn't do any of this. It's like, were you invited?
No, not really. Oh, and spoiler alert, you know him and Laura Bell Bundy used to date.
Yeah, I do know that he used to date.
Look at her, she's like,
That is so great. I love that.
I love him
He's dated a
too.
lot of Broadway girls. He dated Sutton Foster.
Oh, love Sutton.
yeah, that Christian.
Yeah.
But I love it when
See, people like nerdy
like
cuteness.
innocent.
they definitely. That's like Adam Brody, Seth Cohen.
Okay,
OC.
no, it's
Oh,
not.
sorry.
Adam Brody.
She's like,
Adam
okay,
Bro-
no.
Sorry, just shut down. My
That
bad.
was hilarious. She was like, yeah, no, we're not going there.
No, because I think Adam Brody is like, he's like heartthrobby cute. I don't know, but this is a side.
Yeah, so sorry. So
subject.
I was just saying because I love it when in real life like you're watching characters on TV or whether it be Broadway or whatever, and they have some sort of relation afterwards because it makes it so much more realistic and it gives you hope. Like, oh my gosh, they really are.
They had chemistry.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're watching it, you're like, these people have some real
Right.
chemistry.
Okay, but can I just say a sidebar? You are giving me Marsha Brady right now. You are totally giving me Marsha Brady.
Does that make me Jan? Yeah, no, Marsha.
Wait, that makes me Cindy?
Well,
No, but
if the ponytail fit.
wow.
I'm just kidding.
But no, but I
killing
do
me
love
right
because
now.
I loved Emmett in the movie, and we don't get to see a lot of Emmett, so I do like that. Regardless of how it was brought upon, that we get him, and that they also do stuff for each other. So he helps her out, and then she gives him the fashion course. Because Take It Like a Man is also one of my favorite scenes to watch.
Yes. I think the way they segue from one musical number to another was seamless the way they did it, and it totally coincided with the script. Because sometimes in musical theater they'll be talking, and then all of a sudden a song will come up, and you'll be like, "Wait a minute, why is that happening? Where did that come from?
Why are you singing right now?
Why are you singing right now? What is that song?" Like, so that never, I don't feel like that. Well, yeah, there's one moment where I feel like that happens, and that's with the Irish thing. But that's just me. Y'all love the Irish thing. I was like, not so much. But for the most part, I really love the musical, as you can tell.
No, I totally agree because about the seamless part, because for when
Even
you're going
the
to
set
see
pieces, it's like the way the set pieces move as they're singing, as things are happening.
I like set production is one of the things that I always look at when you're seeing them, just kind of the way that everything flows together. You're just like, how did they think about that or put it together? It's
That's why I love
amazing.
that they taped the MTV one that they taped. Because we got to see all that behind the stuff,
Right.
seeing stuff like we got to see how she changed the dress so fast. Like, I think there's that mystical magic of Broadway when people do these fast changes, and you're like, how the hell did they do that? And so being able to kind of see like, oh, this is its magnets and it's this and that, like, it's cool. It's like watching a movie and watching the commentary from the director at the same time.
I love
It's
that.
it's kind of like watching a magician do his tricks,
Right.
and then you're given like the backstory or the secret to what makes the trick work. It's kind of like the same thing.
Plus, I always love when they film Broadway shows and put them out, because there are so many parts of the country where people don't
can't
get the
get
chance
there.
to see it.
Mm-hmm.
Or people that just don't have the money to go see it. Like,
They're expensive.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
They're
yeah.
like over $100 just to see one Broadway show.
And the touring shows are expensive. Like, they're not
They're
as
over
expensive as the
$100
Broadway
too.
shows,
Yeah.
depending on the show. Yeah, like, or
Hamilton was like at lowest. The touring cast is $200 at lowest.
yeah,
That's the lowest.
unless you
price.
get the raffle.
Unless
you
you
get
are
to do
part of the
$10.
raffle.
Like, I know the Hamilton tickets are off the charts, and when I was in the Lion King here, our tickets were almost $200 a pop.
Of course.
They were like $175 a pop.
Like, for a touring show that hasn't been redone on Broadway recently, you can maybe get away with on Gold Star or something paying $30, $40. But even $30-$40 for a show, like, for some people, that's a lot of money.
Right.
It is.
Well, and I
But
think
that's cheap.
Yeah, I
they
think
don't
the
have
cheapest-
Gold Star in New York.
Yeah, I didn't see that. I think the cheapest that
I
I've
love
gotten.
Gold Star,
I know, me
StubHub, all those places.
Yeah, StubHub is good. I think the cheapest I found it was like $70, which is still, when you, by the time taxes, fees, if you buy any food or anything there, it's pricey. It's
Or
it's
if you
'cause it's an
if you want a sweatshirt.
yeah, if you want the CD, which
If you
I
want to park.
yeah. Oh my gosh, parking's $20 alone.
Oh, no, girl. You got to find them parking spots.
That's why you get there 2 hours early.
Yeah.
You drive around Hollywood.
I just take the train.
That's smart.
And then there's that.
Yeah.
You're just parking, because here in LA, the
It's right
Metro's
across the
right across the
street.
street from the Pantages.
Yeah,
True.
that is
So
You
you
just park in the
literally
North
walk across the
Hollywood
street.
lot. You take
Now,
it
if you're
out.
going downtown to like the music center, that's a whole different thing. I wouldn't be taking. I took the train down there once, and that was just like way too many things. It took
Yeah.
too long to get there. Once you got off the train, you had to walk to. I'm like,
Yeah,
you
so
know
with
what?
all
I will
of these
drive and spend that
conditions, like-
$12.
with all these
Yeah.
conditions, like when they
Yeah.
film stuff like this and put it up, like also Falsettos next week, I believe, is going to be in theaters, in certain theaters and stuff. But it's like movie tickets a lot cheaper than going to see a Broadway show. So
It is.
I love when they do that for people, because it is so hard, and there's so many shows I want to see, and I'm like, I can't afford to go see all these shows.
Right.
Even when they're coming through, I'm like, okay, what are my top maybe 2 or 3 that I want to see this
That's
year?
a lot. Yeah, whenever I go to New York, I write down my whole list of what I'd like to see, and then I go and I see what's on TKTS. And then I say, okay, who do I know at a show? And then I go, okay, who do I know that's in the lighting booth? Like, I have a whole series of
That's
eliminations
amazing.
that I
That's
deal with
smart, though.
before I do it. But I usually end up only having time to see 2.
Yeah.
So I usually have to narrow it down to 2 shows that I see. And I'm lucky that every time I go, I usually pick the right 2.
Even when I was in London, and I was on the West End, it was like between Matilda and
Oh, I want to see Matilda.
Billy Elliot. And I was like, well, Billy Elliot's been out for a while.
Yeah.
Matilda just came out.
Yeah.
These are a lot cheaper. I haven't seen either. I want to see both. We'll go see Billy Elliot this time. We'll wait a
Yeah.
couple years for Matilda.
Yeah.
Segueing back to
Legally
Legally
Blonde.
Blonde, I love how she proposes to him at the end. Because in the beginning, she's doing this whole, like, I'm anticipating getting proposed to. And finally, because she's taking control of her life, she's picking the person that she wants
We do
to
a
propose
360.
to. Yeah.
Yeah, which is also different from the movie because in the movie you never actually see the proposal.
Right.
It's just on the screen.
Right.
Says that she gets proposed to tonight, so you never really see that unfold. So to see it unfold on stage was kind of cool.
And me and Jackie have talked about this on other shows, but both of us are a very big fan of bookends. So I
Yeah,
love that it
love
ends
that.
with the same kind of song that it begins with.
Yeah.
And
Love
we
that
love you
bookending.
guys instead of we. I'm just saying.
I
It's a
agree.
smart thing.
It's a smart thing. It's totally a smart thing because it wraps it all up into a nice little pink bow.
You do your nice
Yeah.
little roller coaster.
You feel like you've come
And you're
full
back.
circle.
Yeah.
Well, and because you I loved that opening piece and that number, so you're kind of waiting. You're like, I don't want it to be over. I want to hear that again. So it's really nice that it kind of is like it gives
It
you that little
resurfaced,
fun tit.
Yeah, totally reset.
And I love the Delta News in the musical. I love that they have them like be her little like ghost angels guiding her through
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah, that was cool.
Because it is like they don't have a huge part in the movie, so I love like when they give people that maybe have like a tiny part, like let's bring you back in some way. Let's
Well, I
figure it
mean,
out.
you're already paying actresses who can sing and dance, and to have them just, like in the movie, have them just come in at the end, that would be a disservice.
They do it all the time in musicals.
I know.
So they do it all
I know.
the time.
But it makes me feel better that I'm like, you're using people who can actually like sing
I
and
also
dance.
love watching
Good
this
job.
musical and picking out how many people, whether it be Delta New or who played Elle, who also played Glinda.
Oh.
There's a lot of them.
Look at you. Good cross-reference there.
There's a lot of them. If you can sing Elle Woods, you can sing Glinda because you already have the energy part going for you.
That's very
That's
true.
true. That's
very
true.
true.
Galinda.
Galinda.
Depending on which part of Wicked
We're
you're
doing
in.
Wicked in
a
future in the future on
in a
this-
few weeks,
in
yeah.
a few weeks.
I watched that over at winter break, and I was just like obsessed with it. And I still am binge listening to the music.
Wicked?
Yeah.
And I do have a clip here that I want to play. They don't. It wasn't nominated for a Best Musical for Tony's, so we don't have a Tony's clip. But I just grabbed something from the MTV recorded show because I got the whole show. So I did my favorite song, which is So Much Better.
Oh, yeah, that's my favorite song.
And we're going to watch that, and then I'll talk about the Tony Awards after we watch this clip for a minute.
Yay.
And this is like Laura Bell Bundy at her best in this song. Everything
And it's
about
so
her.
romantical.
Look at her. She looks like she's 12.
I know. She's so cute.
You would love me again. You'd come to respect my mind, and at last you'd find you could love me again.
She's able to emote so much
and
in her
I
singing.
have turned
She's been
my
acting since she was
I
like
know. She was in
a
Jumanji.
kid.
trying
She was
not
in
to let
Ruthless,
you
the
go.
musical, which is kind of like the bad seed.
Walk away. It's like a fatal blow. What? Whoa! You said my name up on that list.
Sing it, girl.
Someone knows that I exist. Is this a mistake? Am I even awake? Pinch me how to make sure.
I know.
And she does this whole musical in heels. The entire thing.
Maybe I'm
She wears heels every day, all day long. Anyway.
Well, as someone who doesn't, I'm
You're like
in
props.
awe.
It's impressive.
Warner. Sorry, I've been a pest, but
I love
guess
this part
my
too.
best was not working with you. But it looks like I found a cure, and I so look forward to working with you.
What? Working with who?
Hey, remember when we spent spring break in the hot tub every night? Said nothing else would ever feel so right. Well, this might singing my name up on that list. That be the first time that we kissed. Thought I was dumb, but I think that somebody said it was love. Singing my name is like
stupid.
I also love the costuming. Like, she stands out so much
Yeah.
because of the contrast of bright to the mild colors.
She's what you prefer, but hey, last year I was her. Maybe you will change your mind, but you might look up to find I thought on to better things, better job to figuring. I don't have the time to cry. I'm too busy letting my name up on that list. Kind of a cool, ironic twist.
Spin, girl.
Yeah.
Wait, there's myself. Hey, Mom, look at my name in black and white. Your mother's doing something.
I love the people who play her parents too. They're just adorable.
I'll be there on Monday night at 5. Then we will see who loves the most. No, I can't wait. I will be there at 8 when they hum on the door. I'll even dance in black and
It's about the key changes, though.
It's a fun fact, when it was in San Francisco and she kicked, the shoe came off and went into the crowd and one of the
geez.
performances.
Oh my gosh.
There's a clip of it online. Hey, that's a great souvenir for someone. I
Yeah.
got the shoe.
I wonder if someone's like, can I have that back, please?
Here comes that note. That heavy note.
It's
Oh,
like,
So cute.
not only is this role so demanding physically and vocally, but like she's pretty much on stage almost the entire time. There's only a couple scenes where she's not.
Yeah.
So she
Yeah.
doesn't even get like that much of a break in between these like
Right.
belts and dancing.
But she's a tough cookie. Laura Bell Bundy, the person, is one of the toughest, most generous, kindest, funniest, craziest people I've ever met in my entire life. And she's a really good friend of mine. I love her. And we have such a great time.
And she, like I met her when she's been in the studio before for different things for AfterBuzz, and I got the chance to meet her, and she is so nice. Like you said, like, you know, sometimes you always like are afraid of meeting people that you love because you're like, are they gonna be me?
Yeah.
She's so nice.
She's really sweet. She's really sweet. When we were on, we bonded at Heart of Dixie because we were saying before that we were on Heart of Dixie. So we were on Heart of Dixie together, and I found out that she had joined the cast. And I'm like, ooh, please let me be in the makeup trailer with her one day. Please, 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 please. And I walked in one morning, and she was sitting there, and I was like, so your name is Laura Bell Bundy? And she was like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, I'm Carla Renata. I saw you in Legally Blonde. You were fierce. And she started laughing. And she's like, really? I'm like, girl, I saw it 10 times. Hello. And we totally bonded over that.
Yeah.
And then we also bonded over horse racing. Because we go to the Breeders' Cup every year.
Nice.
But she's really wonderful. And she's really, really talented. And they had her singing on Heart of Dixie a lot.
Yeah.
She sang on Heart of Dixie a lot.
Yeah, because they did the cabaret thing.
I
when
mean,
she
if you
opened
have
up
someone
I
that
was
can
in that.
sing, why not? Why not write that
Right.
in?
yeah.
Might as well.
A lot of people in Heart of Dixie could sing. It was the thing about Heart of Dixie that was hilarious is that, like a musical, we would just spontaneously break into song.
Yeah.
It was like the small town in Alabama that was multicultural, where people would just break into song every once in a while.
That's awesome.
It was such a good show. She did such a phenomenal job in that too.
Well, and
It
you
was-
can. I mean, obviously, she's getting rewarded for. She got nominated for Best Featured Actress. I mean, I would have given her the Tony just for the amount of work
Who won
that this
year?
show.
Do we
Right.
know who won?
I'm trying. It was 2007. I can't remember who won. I should have looked that up before. I can look it up if we need to. But she was nominated. Christian Borle was nominated. It was Best Original Book and Score was nominated. It didn't win anything, which I was like astounded by that it didn't win anything.
It had a nice little run though, despite the fact that it didn't win any Tonys. Which a lot of times, if a show doesn't win a Tony, it usually closes right away. It usually doesn't stay open very long. But I'm like, okay, Legally Blonde was a good show.
Yeah.
Like if it sucked, if there was any element of it that really, 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 really sucked, it would have closed, and it would have been a wrap. But it was a good show, and it had a huge following, mostly because, like us on the panel, a lot of people really love that movie. So it,
Right.
it had a nice long life.
Yeah, I
on
mean,
Broadway.
when you have a movie, unless you're Spider-Man, that is popular, you can be sure that people will go see the play.
right.
Well, in that instance, people were injuring their actors several times.
Also,
over.
it took them so long from when they announced it to when it actually finally came out. Everyone was
Yeah.
like, I'm over it. I'm done. Sorry, Bono.
Oh,
But I
no.
do feel like there are so many musicals that I love that, they're nominated for a couple Tonys here or there, but I feel like the Tonys, like any other award show, they're very political, and they want to look for something that's giving some sort of message that whatever that year that message is that they want
Right.
to get behind.
Well, okay, so I asked who had won the Best Actress in 2007. It was Christine Ebersol for Grey Gardens. Are you guys familiar with Grey Gardens?
Yep.
I've never
her.
seen the show, but I've seen the movie.
I saw the musical, and let me tell you something. I was like, if Christine Ebersol don't win this Tony, I'm gonna have an attitude.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Because Christine Ebersol was crazy as hell in that musical, but she like Laura Bell Bundy's role in Legally Blonde, she also is on stage the whole entire time, and vocal in that part was extremely vocally demanding. So that was a rough year that year, I think. In terms of Best
in my
Actress in
mind,
Musical.
Laura Bell Bundy gets an honorary Tony. And yeah, so Laura Bell Bundy, Christian Borle, and Orpha were all nominated
Yeah.
for Tonys.
The
Best
musical was
choreography as
nominated,
well.
right?
No, not the musical. Best book of a musical, but not
Oh,
the
okay.
musical itself.
And Jerry Mitchell got nominated for the choreography.
Yes, for the choreography, and then it got nominated also for best costume design.
The costumes were off the point.
Yeah, the
They were nice.
costumes were wonderful.
They were really nice. I like the costumes for that show. They were
I wanted that
perfect.
pants, the little skirt suit she had when she becomes the lawyer her.
Oh, that was cute,
That
right?
was cute. I wanted that.
I liked that they took the pink outfit that she wears into the courtroom in the end, and they replicated it exactly, and they have her wearing the navy blue throughout, and then finally she's like, no, I'm gonna do this my way, and I'm gonna
Wear
go
the
in
pink.
and
You know what? I do want to mention. We haven't mentioned it yet, but the "there, right there" scene with the two gay guys. In
Oh
the
my
courtroom.
gosh, I
Yes.
love that.
That
I
was good.
love that they made that song "Gay or European."
Yes, yes,
That was kind of comical. I
it
love
was
that, yeah.
hilarious.
That was very comical. I kind of love them. For
Well,
that.
because it was that's such I mean, it is a big part of the movie. I mean, it's her uncovering a lot about the lying that's going on, but to have it and be like, you know what, let's make it its own musical number. Let's add some flair into this. Let's take the serious note down a second and bring some comedy in. That's a really smart choice because, especially with musicals and stuff, when you're doing one that's not like a Les Mis or a Sweeney Todd where it's so serious all the time and you have to keep bringing people.
Well, Legally Blonde is a comedy.
That's what I'm
I
saying.
see it as a comedy, and so
It
it's like
is.
that scene in the courtroom where he's taught. They have funny lines that they don't use in the musical, which they turn into instead a great musical number. Like they don't have the line about her wearing the last year's Prada or whatever
Yeah.
it is. So, but so
Don't
they
you
turn.
on top of that.
Yeah, but still, they make it their own. They make it their own funny thing, which was wonderful to me.
And that's what I'm saying. When you have a comedy, you can't bring it down for a
Too
very long
much,
time. You
yeah.
have to
It has to
keep
come back
coming
up.
back up.
The other thing I love about Legally Blonde the musical is that everybody had their moment.
Yes.
It didn't focus on 3 people or 4 people for the entire
The
musical.
Bend and Snap became not her, but the Delta News.
Exactly. Everybody had their moment to shine. And so it wasn't a situation like you were saying earlier where, you've got all these majorly talented people, because what you have to do to get in a Broadway show, the paces that you have to go through just to get cast is ridiculous.
Right.
And then you get there and then you have one line here or
Right.
one line of a song here, or you're third from the back in the choreography, that kind of thing. It can be disconcerting, but it's also exciting that you're in a Broadway musical. But Legally Blonde did a really excellent job of making sure that everybody had a moment to shine, that everybody had their moment where you knew who this person was, you knew who that person was, that, like you were saying about the gay number. That was hilarious.
Yeah.
That was pure comedy at its best. So they had their moment to shine, whereas if that had been any other musical, they may not have had that opportunity.
It's a good point. It's a great point.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great musical. You guys should definitely go see it if you ever get the chance. If it's ever coming through town, or if you're ever in New York and it's on Broadway, definitely a show that you should give a chance to. I'm going to end it there on that talk because we are running a little bit low on time, but because I want to get to some of our theater news, because we had some big news come out about Aladdin, the live musical. We have our top 3 cast members' names released. We have Mena Massoud playing Aladdin, Naomi Scott playing Jasmine, and Will Smith playing the genie.
Well, there's some stunt casting there, but
Okay, so let me just talk about Will Smith for 2 seconds. I think Will Smith is really funny. I think nobody can really replace Robin Williams as a
Yeah.
genie. I'm sorry.
We're all going to have a...
Even if he were living, you would still be but it was Robin Williams.
Right.
So I feel like there's always going to be looming, but if you were going to get somebody that could be funny and off the cuff and not have it be forced or contrived, he's the person for it, I think. and to go in a different direction and just make it somebody that you wouldn't think it's going to be. I hope it works out.
Right.
It may not, but I hope it works out.
Yeah, I mean, we never know until the film actually comes out. Sometimes we have our reservations that ends up being great. Sometimes we have our reservations that ends up being not so great.
Like Les
Right.
Mis. Did I say that out loud? Oh, I'm sorry. That was my inside voice.
I was thinking of Beauty and the Beast, but okay.
The only thing I just don't want them to do is put him in some parachute pants and like give him the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air haircut again and like
Girl,
just
you know
make
they
him the
are.
Ah.
You know they're gonna put him in some parachute pants. You know that's gonna happen. He's
Yeah.
a genie.
No, I mean, no, but I just don't want them to make him like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, 90s Will Smith, come just pretend to be the genie.
Now you know if you thought about that, you know somebody else did.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
That's true.
Somebody else is sitting right now going, ooh, and then we could do this, and then we could do that, and Will Smith is sitting somewhere going, yeah, no.
Not happening.
But I like to try to keep my mind like I have my my concerns and stuff, but I try to keep my mind open until I see a show. You know, Mamma Mia 2, like I had my negative things about that, but that's because the first one already came out, so I'm allowed to have my negative thoughts because
Well,
I've
and
already
they're
seen it done
using,
once.
presumably they're using the same cast for the second
Yeah,
one.
they
Yeah.
are.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is a problem.
So that's
But
why
anyway.
I'm already on the negative train.
I'm just
But
gonna put my head down with my pink nails.
But like we've said it time and time again on this show. No matter how negative we get about anything that's upcoming, we're gonna go see it.
We are gonna go see
So
it.
like,
Yeah, curiosity killed the cat.
Right,
You gotta go check it out.
exactly.
It's like, come on now.
Exactly.
so they can like they're not too mad at us for being like a little concerned or anything because they're like they're buying tickets still, so whatever.
And then there's that.
I will say
Yeah.
I'm super excited about Mamma Mia too. We were talking about it before the show started, and I was actually listening to ABBA in the car on the way here, and I was just thinking how excited I was because I just saw that news recently. So I'm I didn't have too many concerns with the first one though, but
I love Pierce Brosnan, but I don't ever need to hear him sing.
No.
If they
He
make
can
if
be
something
James
happens and
Bond.
he has
He can't be in a
laryngitis for the
musical.
second film, I'm on board.
I'm like, I don't need to hear him sing again. I really don't.
Mena Massoud is known from Amazon's Jack Ryan television series, and Naomi Scott was in the new Power Rangers film and was also in Disney Channel's original movie Lemonade Mouth,
Ah.
which I've never heard of, and that's a weird
It
name.
lasted-
That is a weird title.
It was a sitcom, and it lasted like 2 seconds. I think it may have done 2 seasons, maybe.
Oh, I thought that was the movie. Didn't they do a Lemonade movie?
It was a different project. Lemonade Mouth was literally a sitcom.
Oh, okay.
And we all know what Will Smith's done. I don't need to tell you
Yeah.
what his credits are.
And yeah, then there's that. He's a twice Oscar-nominated actor, and I don't think he ever got nominated for The Fresh Prince, which is understandable because he was. Do you ever hear the story about him on Fresh Prince when he first started? He was such a novice at acting that he would memorize the whole script. And if you
Aw.
watch some early episodes,
I think I did hear about this.
If you watch early episodes of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, you can see him mouthing the words of other people when they're talking.
Really?
Straight up.
Oh my gosh, I need to
You
go back
can't
and
make
watch
this
that.
up.
That's so
You can't make this
interesting.
up. So to him to go from that
Yeah.
to being nominated for an Oscar twice, I'm like, yo, you got my respect.
Yeah.
'Cause that took some doing.
Yeah.
Speaking of Mamma Mia 2, they did announce who's playing Meryl Streep's younger version of herself, because I guess in the sequel we will go into the past.
Oh,
That's
Oh.
exciting.
So who's playing
total
her?
opposite.
Lily James will be appearing as young Donna. I'm trying to see. She was in Baby Driver, so.
I love her. Oh, did y'all see Baby Driver?
I haven't yet.
I haven't seen. I've
So
heard it's
good.
great, but I haven't seen it yet.
It's kind of fantabulous.
Yeah,
It's really good.
I need to go watch it.
It's better than you think it's gonna be.
Ooh.
Yeah, she was great in that.
Yeah, so she will be
Ooh, that'll
playing
be
young
exciting.
Meryl Streep. I feel like any actress like having to play young Meryl Streep, I would just be so nervous. I'd be like, oh my
Right.
god, you're amazing.
But you know what? If anybody could do it, Lily James could pull it off because she's a really, really great actress. She's really
That's
good.
exciting.
It's good. I have random. I went to see Jacque Borle is Alive and Well and Living in Paris at the Odyssey Theater, which is here in Los Angeles. It was a really, really good performance. I laughed, I cried. So it's running until I think the end of or the beginning of August. So if you get a chance, check it out.
To go check that out.
Okay.
Does anyone else have any news or anything they want to talk about really quick before we wrap this up?
We're doing You're in Town next week.
We are doing You're in Town next week.
Ooh. Haven't seen that one.
I haven't seen that one either.
It's the most ridiculous but amazing.
I need to check it out then.
I'll take your word for
Yeah.
it.
To give you a little preference for next week, it's about a town where a world where water is so scarce because the droughts and stuff that they have to ration water. And so to pee, you have to pay in a public restroom to go to the bathroom. And if you pee in, in the wilderness and you're caught, or you're caught like doing something else, then they can arrest you and send you to Urinetown.
Wow.
Oh, I was
That's-
thinking like you are in town.
Oh no.
Oh,
But
no.
you're in
urine,
town.
like
Okay.
urine as in PP.
Good to know. Good to know.
Sutton Foster's brother, I'm blanking on his first name right
Hunter.
now. Hunter Foster played the lead in it on Broadway. So we will talk about that next week. We will see you guys all then. You can find me at bphipps14 on Twitter and Instagram. And where can they find you, lovely ladies?
You can find me on Twitter at Ali Nasta and on Instagram at Ali Girl.
I am at The Curvy Critic across all social media platforms.
I'm 123 Jackie B on all platforms.
And we will see you guys all next week. Have a great one.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Popcorn Talk Network or its owners or principals.